Last night, I was driving out with my niece, and I heard the news that there was a ceasefire. And I looked at her because we had just been saying earlier in the morning she lives up here by the ranch, and we were just talking about it. And I said, what's really strange is I'm not getting any sense of real trouble. And I know trouble has to be just over the horizon. And I don't know, maybe God's not talking to me anymore. And she's like, no, I feel the same way. And she said, in fact, I feel a real sense of peace. And I said, yeah, I think I do too. And I don't understand it because the world is on fire. What is the warning that we should be giving? What should we be doing? And then we're driving and we hear that, peace. And it shocks both of us. Ceasefire between Iran and Israel? Are you kidding me? That's the first real diplomatic breakthrough in a war that has been edging towards the abyss forever and, will be the final battle, I believe, in the end. And who brokered it? Donald J. Trump. Not NATO, not the UN, not the globe, not a round table of seasoned diplomats sipping espresso in Brussels. Trump. And he announced it via social media, naturally. He said both parties had agreed to an end to the hostilities, and it would be 24 hours. I think Iran had to behave itself for the first 12 hours, and then Israel could join and behave itself for the next 12 hours. And then after that, everything stops. Iran said they would stop missile launchers. The stakes on this have been massive. You know it, and I know it. 48 hours earlier, the Israelis had flattened the Iranian Revolutionary Guard positions. They had, in response, Iran had just leveled sections of Tel Aviv. 200 people wounded in Israel, black smoke over Damascus, missiles intercepted over Amman. The region was on fire, but the fire paused briefly, and then it didn't. I get up this morning, and here's what the president says. As he's heading for Marine One, we have edited, and you'll understand why we edited the president's words when you hear it, if you haven't heard it yet. Listen.
They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. When I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
I think everybody did, Mr. President. Then he took to social media. Israel, do not drop those bombs. Bring your pilots home now. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. I don't think I've ever seen him like this before. Now let that sink in here for a second. The U.S. president publicly telling Israel, the only democracy in the Middle East, stop your retaliation. Damage was done. Israel had already, resumed the airstrikes. This time with a vengeance. The Israeli defense minister didn't mince words. He blamed Iran for breaking the truce, launching missiles at civilian targets again in Israel. And, of course, Iran denied everything. They always do. Play the shot here of Iran saying how they won the war. This is from Iranian TV yesterday. Listen to this.
Yesterday,
the people conducted a signet operation, and they heard the Israelis say that there were over 500 casualties in our attacks yesterday, in addition to 300 people that are still missing. And they are stuck under the rubble. And more than 200 people were injured, more than 200. So our operation yesterday alone, more than 1,000 people were killed or injured, or are still missing. Perhaps America has joined the war. because we're very, very close to annihilating Israel. We were in the closing stages. No, not really. But did you notice, is that the way we would have reported that story in the West? If we were the ones that were sending the missiles over, would we say, hey, in just the open, we did 300 people. We killed 300 people. And then there were like 200 casualties, maybe as many as 500 casualties. And then, just in the last 2 days, we've killed 1,000 people. Is that the way we would have reported that? That should tell you everything you need to know about, choose life, choose death, which side is on the side of life and which side is on the side of death. They're talking about 1,000 people dying, not military targets, 1,000 people dying. Okay, so Iran is denying reality. Multiple sources, U.S. intelligence, IDF radar, eyewitnesses on the ground in Jerusalem confirm rockets were fired from Iranian proxies in Syria and southern Lebanon within hours of the truce. So does that mean that peace was just a mirage? Well, here's what I think it means. It means behind the headlines and the diplomatic smiles and everything else, the truth about Iran remains. It's the only thing that we know for true. They don't negotiate in good faith. They never have. They're liars. They don't actually want peace. They want to dominate the Middle East, and they want Israel gone. And they also want America humiliated. So the ceasefire was a test, and Iran failed. And yet the coverage, who's the villain? If you watch the coverage, the villain was Israel or Donald Trump. The mainstream anchors last night, I don't know if you saw this. I mean, it looked like somebody was killing their children. When they found out that there was a ceasefire, it looked like, oh my gosh, no. But they were, when they announced the collapse, They couldn't blame Trump the night before for war, and their glee was almost reckless. They were just so happy. They had stunned silence the night before when it was good news, and then when it was bad news, they're like, see, we told you. Here's the thing: Trump's pressure campaign worked. His unpredictability worked. Iran blinked. Now they tried to cheat the ceasefire quietly. They got caught. Israel responded because we would too. So now what? Trump is on the plane now heading over to NATO, not as the wild card, but the man who came this close to brokering an impossible peace between two mortal enemies. He has, and the peace might be back on by the time he lands. The world really needs to face this question. What if Donald Trump is right? What if boldness, not a bunch of pencil pushers, not a bunch of politicians. What if boldness is what keeps the war from boiling over? What if the thing the world hates the most, mocks the most, was the thing that's holding back the flood? Yeah, the ceasefire collapsed last night, but I think history is going to remember this moment not as a failure, but as a reveal. A spotlight shined on the real motives behind the Iranian regime. In case you didn't get it yet, it was a spotlight on the media last night. So invested in failure of this, they couldn't even fake relief when peace arrived. Couldn't fake it. I think what Donald Trump did is, I said last night, maybe it was just to a friend, this is why I would make a very bad president. Because when the fate of the world is at stake, I would be like, I can't make that decision. And you have to have somebody who can make the decisions. And I just don't think I could do it. I really don't. Could you have done what Donald Trump did? Stu, could you have done what Donald Trump did in the last week? If you were the president and you had to stand there all by yourself, your own base was turning, everybody was turning on you. And you said, nope, I believe this is the right thing to do. With what was at stake and what is at stake, could you have done it?
Those are two separate questions. I think I would be able to take a stand for something when my base disagreed with me. That type of stuff we do.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
When the world is at stake.
Doing everything that he did over the past, the guy seemingly has no shortage of energy. I don't know if there was a a fountain of youth situation. I don't know if there was just like I mean, if he just loves Red Bull.
Really good genetics. Really good genetics. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah. Great genetics. All right.
But yeah, there's been a lot for him to do. I mean, he's still got the bill going on. I mean, when's the last time we even mentioned the big, beautiful bill that is going through the Senate right now and is a massive part of what he has to deal with? Not to mention, he's going over to these meetings in Europe right now. The topic isn't even Israel and Iran. It's Ukraine and Russia. Like that,
and 5%.
In 5, yeah, and the funding, for NATO.
I mean, that is crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot.
We couldn't get him to 1.5%. He finally got him to 2%. Now he's like 5%. You're gonna have to cough up 5%, each of you.
Which is what they were supposed to be doing anyway.
And I think that's fantastic, right? But it looks like it might happen this time. You got that look on your face like, yeah, a lot of things might happen. And you're right. A lot of things might happen.
Yeah.
Anything could happen, and a lot of things might happen.
Yeah, there's a part of me that's concerned about encouraging Germany to spend more money on defense. Like, that's the only hesitation I keep coming up with in this one. It's like, I don't know, maybe them spending 2% is more than they need to spend, honestly. Because when they get a big defense going in Germany, things don't always turn out so well. But I do understand, and that is their agreement. They're supposed to be spending 5% on their defense. That's part of their arrangement. So I agree with you. It's just a lot of stuff going on. So no, I could definitely not handle all the things that he's doing right now. I don't think it's possible for most Cubans to do it.
Are we closer to peace than we were yesterday?
Yeah. I think so. I mean, we don't know if this thing's going to hold up, right? Like, we don't know if this arrangement holds up. But if we can get to a place where what we have is even what we had, 3 or 4 weeks ago, where these countries still hated each other and were sort of on the verge of war all the time, which is what the situation has been for as long as I can remember with Israel and Iran,
forever.
Except for the fact that many targets have been taken out in Iran and their nuclear program has been diminished significantly, and a lot of their military leadership has been knocked out, and and on and on and on and on. All the things that Israel has achieved during this past couple of weeks, even if it just bounces back to where it was, Iran is in a much worse position, and that's, I think, a real positive, frankly. So, I mean, I think we're in a better position now, and the best case scenario here is maybe this thing does hold. I mean, I don't think the Applebee's situation is going to happen anytime soon, where we all get together and they share a margarita at the bar. I don't think that's going to happen.
Really?
I think it's unlikely, though. I mean, it's not. Maybe Trump can make that happen. That being said, I feel like we're going to be in a better position, largely because the worst actor in this situation is weaker. That's good.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. And by the way, your Applebee's thing will never happen. It's not kosher, nor is it halal. So, not going to happen, Stu.